Always Facebook, so your commercials I can hear. Okay. So just keep that, you guys. Thank you. Yeah. You're right, though. It's a joke.
Good morning and welcome to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between, right here on 106.9 The Country Giant, brought to you by Live Land and Cattle. We are in the Potosi Live studio in a jam-packed show. Hodge, Josh, and Misty's not here, but we know she's listening. She's getting ready to make a difference in the lives of this year's Leadership Abilene class here. But joining us in studio, first time in the Potosi Live studio, Grant Cunningham has been with us downtown, and he already walked in, said the Mall of Abilene is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So Grant with us. Josh, how we doing? Good stuff this morning?
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Jam-packed. I say jam-packed. There was a lot of football on last night. Of course, we'll talk about that all across from the NFL to the college and a number of high school games last night. We'll talk about those. But just a lot of stuff talking about. We're in full swing. Rangers had a big game last night. You know, it's one of those, how late did we stay up?
Well, I watched, until the bullpen kind of went south, and then I was like, I'm going to bed now. But it was exciting.
So did you wake up to the 5-4, or you knew it was 5-4?
No, I just woke up to it.
Okay.
We were down 4-1, and I was like, nope, I'm going to bed.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, so 5-4 last night, Rangers. Of course, we'll talk more Rangers baseball in our First Bank and Trust Texas Ranger Report. A lot of different guys, a lot of familiar people. Some people may be asking, why is one pitcher going ahead and starting and pitching this year? But I think it's probably to see, did we buy the right house? Did we pay enough money for that pitcher? We'll talk about that a little bit later. Excited about our Big Country Electric My Town segment. Coach Kirk Wade, Superintendent Kirk Wade. I'm going to get the official title for Kirk Wade. I think he may be president, CEO, head coach. He does a lot of things out there at Abilene Christian Schools. If you've not driven by their new facilities, Grant, you kind of live on that side of town. It's
beautiful.
It's a beautiful complex.
Phenomenal job.
Baseball, football. They've made, I think one of his goals is maybe to see 11-man football at Abilene Christian, but they'll be playing Knox City tonight, which again, Knox City is in that listing area of 106.9 The Country Giant. And then as you've noticed, we've started having our picks at about 8:15ish. And of course, the West Texas Fair. Have we fared yet? Have we taken the kids?
Not fair.
Not fair, Josh. Have you fared yet?
No,
I can just see like your
felt
kids
a little guilty about it, because first of all, it kind of snuck up on us, and Jim Ned had this incredibly strange, very early homecoming last week. So we had homecoming parade and go to the game. So it just made for that weekend kind of being, I didn't ever think about the fair. And then it was, I'm like, maybe if I just don't talk about it, we won't.
I can just see your kids wanting to play every game more than the rides.
Well,
I could see Barrett and Luke wanting to see, hey, can I throw the football? Can I hit the base, throw the baseball, the basketball?
They don't understand it costs money.
Right. And then maybe I would say give them the darts to hit the balloons, but that may be dangerous for all involved.
Yes.
And I'm talking, actually, the balloons would probably be the safest people there.
The carnival workers would probably want to duck and cover.
It'd be careful. But anyway, so the fair is going on. And with that brings the rodeo, the West Texas Fair and Rodeo. In our celebrity guest picker literally is one of those celebrities. We had Brack last week. Phil Hill is still the leader, I believe, in the he and Brack actually both have 8. But this week we're going to have Madison McDonald Thomas. She's a trick horse rider. So, talking about doing all the tricks, riding around the horse and all that. She'll be our picker today. She rode last night, and I believe is riding tonight and tomorrow. So Madison will join us in studio in the second hour when we get going. Lots going on. College football upset week. Last week, there'll probably be some more this week. I've got one that didn't make the pick'em, but I think there's some coaches that are in trouble. So let's dive into our Lawrence Headline Report brought to you by Lawrence Hall of Abilene. We'll get to the NFL game that happened last night, but there were some high school games last night. Abilene High, unfortunately, the alma mater of Grant, coming up short at Friday Night Lights, Ratliff Stadium, losing last night to Permian 42-37. Also last night, the Wiley Bulldogs beat Lubbock Coronado 41-12. Those two games last night. Again, when you have those schools that are sharing stadiums, people say, well, why are you playing on Thursday? You're sharing some stadiums. And so that took place last night. Abilene High losing 42-37 to Permian, and the Wiley Bulldogs beating Coronado Mustangs 41-12. College football last night, one of those group of five taking on a new Big 12 friend in Arizona State. And last night, 31-28, as San Marcos, known as maybe air quote one of the party universities, been Southwest Texas State, it's changed some names, but one thing was last night, almost upset number 2 in the Big 12 last night, and it's showing that those money games. I'm curious, would that have been? I mean, it's not a money game. They came to you, so there is no money game.
But that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It doesn't matter, money or not. You beat a Power 5, and you're already on the rise. That's a big deal.
Well, and I say that because the other close calls have been money deals, and one last week in Northern Illinois was a money deal. Thank you, sir. And we're leaving Notre Dame with a W and your check. But last night, we were watching it after the game at the Wiley. I was calling the Wiley game. We were looking. I was like, we got a ball game down in San Marcos. And we get in the car, find out that they lose by 3. But I really think the NIL and the portal have actually helped schools like Texas State, like ACU, and has made them available and viable for a place to, hey, come play here. You enjoyed the Power 5 experience. Come play here. We'll find some NIL money, but you're going to get to play football and still play some Power 5 teams.
Well, I think that's exactly right, because really what it's done is, and no offense to ACU or Texas State or any of those, kind of second level non-Power 5 schools, but
or FCS schools.
When you're a high school athlete and you're good, you're being recruited, those are usually not the first place that you want to go, like what Texas Tech calls, or I don't know, like Arizona, there are different schools that you might go to and I can't remember where the Texas State guy was that he transferred out, but ACU's quarterback came from Tech. Yeah. So you go there, you realize maybe you're not going to play as soon as you want or as much as you want. So you've got the opportunity now to go somewhere else. So those talents that used to would just be riding the bench at a Power 5 school are now starting somewhere else. And I would say that is the one benefit that I really have seen with this transfer portal, is that mobility allows people to go places and play. I don't like the lack of I guess commitment that it has in there. There's just, it's what have you done for me lately, or I'll hit the road, and sometimes that doesn't allow you to build a program. But at the same time, those kids that get to go play, they obviously can play.
It's the Wild West out there right now, and you can use the portal in really unique ways. And I think you're right. If I'm a FBS player, why am I going to languish there when I can just jump to the next place and play immediately? And I'm not just going to play immediately. I'm going to help that team be really good. Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I mean, it's really changing the landscape of college football, especially at that second tier level.
Well, and it's also making it harder for the guys that you mentioned it in our pregame meeting about, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Texas. They're going to get multiple cream of the crop. I mean, let's face it, the backup quarterback at Texas, his last name is Manning. So they're going to have that. I think the people it hurts is the second tier Power 5 schools that don't get the experience of playing for a national championship. I get to go play at cool places, and I'm going to get to play against Dion this year if I'm at Tech. But it really wasn't as – it's like those places we say it's a great place to vacation, but I really don't want to live there. And I think you go to a place and you get the experience, and you walk that place, you enjoy the festivities of it, but you're like, okay, California's cool, but I can't live here. And so now I go back closer to home, which some people do, like we've seen with some kids at ACU in Texas State, and they end up getting to go now play and live and establish, and it's actually hurting those folks.
Well, and that's what I was saying by not allowing, and this is, I think, the downside, not allowing you to build a program. Because if you don't go and win immediately, then you're on the move.
The one and done is different than it was in the college basketball. You go to Kentucky, you play 1 year, and you go straight to the NBA. You do that at Duke. It's like a one and done can be differently here in the college football world. Your one and done is like, okay, that was great. It was awesome. And you've even seen it at places. We saw that at Texas. John Mitchell that was at Georgia and then ended up going to Texas from Power 5 to Power 5. So it's just an interesting dynamic that we're seeing. And it reminds me again, these schools giving them a chance like you do at March Madness in basketball.
One thing that's unique about this too is we've got 3 or 4 years of data on this now. And what I think we found is you can underutilize the portal. I'm thinking of Dabo, no offense there. But also you can overutilize the portal. And I'm thinking of like Florida State this year. And so it's going to be interesting to see how big teams look at the portal moving forward, because we've got enough data to show whether you're underutilizing it or overutilizing it. And I think what we've also seen is no matter what you do with the portal, you still got to bring those high school players in and develop them.
Oh, no doubt. And I think you're exactly right. I think you've got to figure out a way. It's almost like Robert Kraft and Belichick did forever with Brady. Okay, we can pay you this, but then we have some more money that we can bring other guys that'll service us well and help us win Super Bowls. You've got to figure out, how do you make that portal work in a way that is beneficial to you, doesn't hurt you, so that you can be successful because you mentioned Florida State and DJU has become the nomad quarterback that still is getting sent chances after chance, but really maybe one of those deals, the grass wasn't as greener on the other side as I thought it was.
Well, obviously, and Florida State, I think, is the perfect example of the flip of that coin, because there is no continuity. As soon as things didn't go well last year with their not making the playoff, everybody split. It was like, well, we didn't make the playoff, so I'm going to transfer. And so then they get embarrassed in a bowl game, come back this year ranked in the top 10, and are just
exposed.
Yeah. So that not building that continuity, not growing together, learning how to play together. It's like every year there, you have whole new, groups of personnel that you got to learn how to play with, and you see it on the field. And I think you see that with even, schools like Texas Tech, with that struggle that they had against ACU. You've got, those first few games of the year, you're just still trying to figure out what your personnel is.
Well, and that's the other deal. And we'll talk more about college football at the bottom of the hour, but you don't get the preseason games like you get in the NFL, or even a couple of scrimmages like you do in high school. Real quick, 30 seconds left as we wrap up the Lawrence Hall Headline Report. Big news last night. The Buffalo Bills win 31-10 over the Dolphins. But the biggest news, Tua Tagovailoa, another big concussion. A lot of questions will be a tough hit. The irony is Damar Hamlin actually was involved on the hit. Be interesting to see, but we'll talk more about that. Is not prayers out to Tua. Hope he's better. Third concussion, but the second big one that we've seen. When we come back, Texas Rangers, right after this.
I saw that hit as it happened, and I had forgotten that DeMar was even playing again.
Yeah,
And
that started just a year after.
Yeah.
Great, don't get Facebook Live and
Crazy.
You have to stay censored.
Josh,
Yes, sir.
7-14. I'm restarting the league.
Okay.
So there should be no issue on how long the league runs. But last week, for whatever reason, and it did the same thing with Harry Douglas 2 weeks ago. During this segment
Link to what?
is
So record the podcast.
disappeared. So they cannot blame it.
I ran out yesterday. And got plenty. I don't know how many are there, but there's more than pick up.
And there's a real good chance when we start talking baseball and you guys get rolling, I'm going to check and make sure that it doesn't die.
Appreciate you. Yeah, move down. I'm impressed.
All right. Excited, met one of our mall walkers at the, I reckon, we'll talk about that. And I may probably talk about that. She said she would waive today.
Right.
So,
All right. How did this happen?
Yeah.
so
Tell me more.
Fairway Oaks have gone to the, they have dinner now in the pub area.
Is that every night or just on a certain
Wednesday,
day of the week?
Thursday, and Friday.
Okay.
Well, recognize her, and you're going to know her. And I think you may, when I say, remember Robert Allen that was governor of, I think his name, Robert Allen. Yeah.
Janice Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Janice.
Yeah. So she's a frequent mall walker.
Okay, nice.
And, but she goes to the pub
Yeah.
to eat a lot.
Okay.
And she sits, she's
Yeah,
come a
she's
few
real
times, sweet lady, but she'll sit by herself.
Right.
And we had the flighting committee. I'm just on it because Kevin's trying to get me to chair the 500 next year. Anyway, so I was walking back through and saw her, and I just said, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Ryan." And
You recognized her as a mall walker, you're saying?
well, twofold. Recognized her as a mall walker, and she comes in, sits.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. I felt bad because I'm in that situation.
Right.
I didn't take advantage of it until for the first time Wednesday. Was saying hi to her because she sits at the same table by herself all the time. Anyway, so I made a point to go over and say hi, and I said, "Do you walk in the mall?" I said,
Crazy stalker.
anyway, I said, "Yeah, we do the radio show." I said, "I'm Hodge." Anyway, and I said, "We've been thinking about bringing in a mall walker to talk." She goes, "Don't bring me in." I'm not one of those.
That's funny, man.
Good coaching.
So you're saying the podcast didn't record the last 2 weeks?
No, it did,
Oh, okay.
but it's during this segment.
Did
But we missed Harry Douglas,
it
which
goes
sucked.
away? Okay. That's
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't see I didn't write down. I was going through typing it. Yeah, still can't believe.
Honestly, kind of looked like he might have broken his neck because they did X-rays. Like, I don't think it was just a concussion issue. I think it might have been an actual did you break a vertebra issue?
Yeah, no, that was. I didn't see it last time.
The head coach at Texas State, G.J. Ginn,
Yeah,
young guy,
he is very
looks
young.
like Dustin Johnson.
Very young.
But yeah, that was all on Tua. I mean, that was not.
No, he
Lowered his head. And
you
went
can't
in-
do that to
went in,
yourself. Yeah.
like,
Oh, he was at Incarnate Word. That I wonder if he was with Morris in 22.
Oh yeah, I bet he was. I didn't think about that. The little man. Morris, he's
Heck, he was an offensive special project for the Philadelphia Eagles.
special. Where did he play?
Played at Tulsa and this bowl game as a player.
Well, I was definitely surprised at how
2007 played at Texas and then transferred to Tulsa.
Clear the bases. Like here on 106.9.
We are clearing the bases right through the first hour here on the Hodge Pack 106.9, the Country Giant. Be sure you head over to our podcast, download, subscribe, rate, review. Go back and listen to previous podcasts if you like. And again, always grab your friend's phone, tell them hi, and download and subscribe from their phone as well. It is time for our first Bacon Trust Texas Ranger MLB report. The Texas Rangers rocking and rolling, more rocking, but finding ways to get some rolls in every once in a while. They had a win last night, 5-4. They're on the West Coast. Do you think do you think Bochy takes time out and takes them over and let them toss some fish around?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
Isn't that what you do in
should
Seattle? Yeah. Hey guys, I think that'd be a great fake Bruce Bochy for the ticket to do. Went out there. Josh does a pretty good fake Bruce Bochy. got some infringement because the ticket was scared that we just were in their segment.
Yeah, cease and desist.
Yeah, cease and desist on. We've only got one fake real, not real Bochy out there. But it is time for our Texas Ranger MLB report brought to you by First Bank and Trust, right across the street from Abilene Country Club. Easy to find. Good parking lot. I will tell you, it's a big park. I like
It's
the
a very
parking.
large parking lot.
Well, but it's an easy in and out. That's a good thing
Mhm.
as well. But Josh, Major League Baseball, the Texas Rangers. Again, I think as I was coming in to the studio, and I noticed, again, had plenty of time to watch as we were driving back from Lubbock last night. Rangers winning 5-4 last night. I looked and saw today when I got to the studio 9 games out. So it's one of those you're trying to end on a good mini notes and some mentions that we mentioned in the Lawrenceville Headline Report is we got a guy that's going to pitch. Is it for the first time?
For the first time tonight, yes, Jacob deGrom is
Yes.
pitching. And on that front, I know that there has been some stuff that I've seen social media and things that people are like, why is he pitching? They're not going to make the playoffs and all of that. And I've addressed this before, but it's the same reason that Kumar Rocker is up in the majors. And like, if you're not excited about that guy, then you're not a baseball fan.
Yeah.
Because
Any relation to John Rocker?
No.
But then I'm out.
But
I'm out.
his dad is the
Tune in and you'll
defensive.
find out why.
His dad is the defensive line coach for the Tennessee Titans. He's a large man.
He is.
And his son is definitely a large man at 6'5", 250.
He looks like a ball player.
Yes, I mean he's a very large individual and throws the ball very hard. And so last night, being his major league debut, he pitched 4 innings. He struck out a whole lot of people. The only I guess blemish on it was he gave up a solo home run to
Josh Turner.
Justin Turner.
Turner.
Yes.
Yeah.
After a ball that was not a ball that was called a ball that should have been
So
strike
mad about
3.
that. He painted the corner.
Yes, and so anyway, that was the one thing that went wrong for Rocker last night. He pitched 4 innings in his major league debut. One of the most anticipated debuts, really for me, probably the most anticipated pitching debut since Neftali Feliz came up in 2000. I guess that was 9 or 10, whichever year that was.
We
9.
were geeking out on that back then.
Yes, but Rocker really does have one of those. Like he can throw the ball 100 miles an hour. He throws a very hard sinker and a slider that is almost unfair. It's just pretty incredible. Very similar to Jacob deGrom, who is pitching tonight.
Powered pitcher.
And that's it's appointment TV when Jacob deGrom pitches because he truly is. He's the best at pitching a baseball that is currently doing so.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is people forget because it's been so long since we've seen him since he did Tommy John surgery last year. But when we signed him, he was the best pitcher in baseball, and I have no reason to think he's not still.
And that's why I'm excited to see and excited that he gets to finish off the season, hopefully healthy and dominant. And the reason that you do that is you can't you're not keeping a bullet in your gun by not pitching this year and coming back next year. Going into the offseason, going through your end of the year program, feeling good about where you're at in your return from surgery, and then coming back next year ready to go. The unfortunate news on that same front is Corey Seager is having surgery today that will officially end his season.
Sports hernia, right?
Yes, it's the same injury that he had that delayed his start this year.
Right.
It was the left sports hernia. Now today he's having surgery for a right sports hernia. So there's something.
I'm not going to lie. I was going to say I hate to interrupt, but no, I actually meant to interrupt. We really we need to find our sports doctor that other shows because I understand if I roll my right ankle and then next week I roll my left and right sports hernia just sounds. I'm going to need some explanation.
Well, actually, I spoke to my wife, who
was
is
gonna say,
a
I'm
doctor,
married to a PT.
last night, and I was like, I said that doesn't seem just coincidental,
Are those things preventable?
Well, and this is speculation, but just in general, when an athlete has a core issue like that, there's some sort of other instability, that either not doing a proper exercise or just being, and this happens a lot. When you're a professional athlete that works out, that you strength train consistently, you can overpower certain muscle groups. So like one muscle group you have a lot of strength in, which overpowers another one, and then causes that just instability that can lead to those injuries. So that's something that I'm sure there are very, very well-trained, respected people that can help with that rehab process and maybe alleviate that in the future. But in hindsight, kind of looking at Corey Seager play for the past little bit, you could tell that he was a little bit gimpy,
Not quite right.
he was, not that he wasn't hustling or anything like that, but sometimes he'd hit balls that you'd think, oh, that's for sure a double, and he would hold up for a single, and then he, was resting for a few days, and then he was on the IL, and now he's having surgery. So it all makes sense. But the good thing is, we know he recovered from this surgery this year. He had that surgery later because he tried to do rehab in the offseason instead of getting surgery, which just delayed his start to this season. Now he's already on that process and should be just ready to go full participant by the time spring training comes around, so we can roll into next year, hopefully with the fully healthy Jacob deGrom and a Kumar Rocker that looks like he's following in Jacob deGrom's footsteps. So there's a lot to be excited about. And like I mentioned in the headline report, I got very frustrated by the bullpen immediately coughing it up after Rocker left the game. So I went to bed and woke up.
So Rocker,
morning.
instead of getting his first career win,
Well, he only pitched 4 innings, and he left in a tie. So he was good as far as decision goes. But I was afraid, like, man, we're going to sour this. Had this amazing debut, just like did everything that he needed to do. But then, the bats came alive later in the game after I was asleep. And
so tonight, Josh will watch Jacob deGrom pitch a little bit and then fall asleep so the Rangers can win. But does it make you feel good knowing that I feel pretty good about – now, Josh, I will say, for those that are watching and have been around, know that you hate this word, but on the journey of getting fit and fiddle, how good does it feel knowing that I feel pretty good that I'm not going to ever have a right or left sports hernia injury, because it sounds like you have to be in pretty good shape and do something.
Don't say that, Hodge. Don't say that.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's no doubt next week in the 500. I'm sure on that first drive next week at the 500, I'm just probably hernia myself or whatever it means. But
I would be careful.
yeah, we will be careful. But so the Rangers, to me, there's got to be excitement more for the 25 season than there is. Yes, we would love to go on back-to-back, but Grant, it hadn't happened in a number of years. I mean, it hadn't happened in years that if you counted them, the kid would almost be able to drink on how long it's been.
Oh, he would be.
Yeah, it's what, 2000, right?
99, 2000.
So not only could they almost could rent a car, which is how long it's been. So it's understandable, but is there still a level of frustration that we didn't battle for a playoff spot longer?
Yeah, there is. I mean, Bochy, I saw him say the other day that, he thought it was just that we had a target on our back this year and everybody was coming after us. Well, I mean, come on. Yeah. You won the World Series. Of course, that's the case. Everybody wants to beat you. I don't really put a lot into that, but yeah, there's frustration. And I do think you're right. At this point in the season, the disappointment we've had, you're just looking forward to next year and you're finding bright spots. So I'm upset, but you move on.
But you still have a World Series ring.
Well, the flags do fly forever. And to the point of looking forward to next year, Josh Young came back from injury and looks every bit the part that we expect him to look. Then Nate Lowe has started hitting for some more power, driving some runs. So some of those things that have not gone well this season are starting to rectify themselves. And so it's not like you're limping into next season with this, like, well, I hope we do better next year, like we have done many times.
I mean, the expectation, like, you're right. We normally would go that way with the Cowboys, but I think the expectation for next year, I always say, whether you're coaching in a small town or coaching at the college level or the NFL level, your expectation and reality have got to match up. I think that the expectation and reality of being better and being good next year. And who's to say there's not people that want to come to Texas because of Bochy, because of maybe they believe in the every other year World Series, that the expectation of being good should be a reality next year.
Well, and I try to remember too, we got there early, right? The World Series year last year, that was early. And so I try to remember that. We've still got an incredible core. I think the starting pitching is going to be even better. I mean, the ingredients are there.
Right. Well, and here's the difference with like just I kind of hope that next year's better. If you remember back to the aughts, you know, for the Rangers had some playoff runs in the 90s. They went into the 2000s. That started with A-Rod coming to town.
Right.
Obviously, that did not work, and like the team languished for a decade.
Yes.
And during that time frame, you know, it was very normal to be out of the playoffs by the All-Star break and just kind of limp through the season. And every year that happens, as it gets to September, I get this like baseball nostalgia. So I start watching more, even if I've kind of lingered away because of the general record. And then you're like, okay, well, this rookie's been called up and he's looking good. So maybe we've got a little better chance next year. But the thing is, this year, we should go into 2025 in the power rankings towards the top, a legitimate contender, not a like, if everything goes right and we get lucky, then we might make the playoffs. We should be a playoff contender for next year, and that's exciting.
Well, and I think, and again, as we head into break, I think the other thing that's a game changer is with winning the World Series last year, you play much later in the year. Normal off season, get you ready for 2025 in a final way to win another ring.